The Open Mic Podcast. The Open Mic Podcast.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, your host, Tom Hirst, brought to you by Richland Source, Newsroom After Hours. Today we have Mr. Jordon Baker himself on the episode studio podcast thingy that we are doing here. Jordon, introduce yourself and tell us about your music.
Yeah, my name is Jordon Baker. I'm born and raised in Mansfield, Ohio, also known as the greatest city in the continental United States.
Heck yeah, it's going to catch on.
Yeah,
it's going to catch on.
I'm also of that opinion. I love Mansfield, Ohio. I have a wife and 2 kiddos.
Yeah.
Started playing music, man, really when I was in the 5th grade.
Okay.
I started playing violin in orchestra in school and stuck with that all throughout high school. Then when I was 17, I started getting involved with the local church in the area. Mm-hmm. And so through that, some people taught me, hey, what you know with music, you can not just play violin. And so actually one of the first guys who really taught me to play guitar was Ben Whitley.
Who
nice. I think has also been on the pod before.
Heck yeah.
And so helped me to realize that 2 chords can go a really, really long way.
Right.
And then so, yeah, learn 2 chords and how to use a capo.
All music is based off of is just typically just 2 chords.
2 chords, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So then started realizing, that kind of what I had learned with music theory from being a kid that applied to guitar and piano and other instruments as well.
That's cool.
So, I've been playing music since I was, I don't even know how old that would be, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
But really been playing guitar and keys for the past probably 8 years.
Okay.
Around there. And then got into songwriting really in 2019.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that's been kind of the journey with music.
Very relatively new at the songwriting game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So what kind of music would you classify your stuff as? Yeah,
so I mean so I have one project out called Body and Spirit, and kind of the idea behind that project is like the first 6 songs are more like storytelling, folky singer-songwriter stuff about my life. Then the other 6 songs were songs that I'd written for like worship in like the church setting.
Yeah.
Subsequently, like in 2019, my wife and I, we were pregnant with twin girls, and we lost one of them, and the other one ended up in the hospital for 3 months. And in that time, man, I don't know how many people be familiar with like Christian worship space. Yeah. It's just like really happy songs. And I didn't need a really happy song.
Yeah.
I needed a song of, there's a book in the Bible called like Lamentations.
Okay.
And that started really to strike my heart that, man, there's not songs for like heartbreak or like
grieving
real
periods.
Life.
Yeah.
I was just like, life is awesome, and life did not feel awesome. And so 2019, actually, in my daughter's hospital room, I really got serious about songwriting just being a way for me to process my life.
Yeah.
And not trying to write songs for anything other than that.
Yeah.
Of I want to process what's happening in my life. And so I would say it's like faithy, folky, indie music inspired by life.
Yeah.
And really just want to be able to relate to others in that way.
Yeah.
Of man, music is such a therapeutic thing for the listener, but I think also for the writer. And so yeah, man, I think I've really grown in songwriting.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
But now I've come to think of it more of like an instrument.
Yeah.
You got to practice it.
Yep.
Songwriting
Absolutely.
is like
the
guitar. You got to practice and learn. And I think it's like a misnomer that either like you can write songs or you can't.
Yeah.
Like you can get better at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to, it's one of those when you actually realize it, it's an aha moment, oh yeah, this is just a skill like anything else. It's like a compound skill.
Exactly. Yeah, I had a guy I did some songwriting classes with, and he put it like songwriting is a lot like writing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
That like you're taking people to a punchline. And so like in the same way, that I think people who are stand-up comics, it's not just like I'm funny or I'm not.
Right.
You get better at it.
Absolutely.
And you grow at it. And the first few are like really bad. You just have to be okay with the fact that they're really bad.
Yeah, right. It really is. That's interesting. Stand-up comedy. I mean, it's all like storytelling through like different modes and mediums, right? So that's really cool. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, dude, it feels so. I don't know, because so much of music is subjective, of course. Just like with anything, but figuring out like. Seeing really your own growth within that skill, and it being that is that subjective is still it's a fun process.
Yeah, it is. And for me too, it was like 2019. We were walking through this with our daughters. Really started getting into songwriting, and then 2020 came, and I was just in my house all the time. And so it was a really great time to start wanting to grow in songwriting. I had written some songs before, but I mean the intention was never like I want to write songs. It was just kind of maybe it happened here and there. I'd co-write with other people. But to really and really too to press into like what kind of music, what kind of artist am I, what kind of musician am I, as well. And like the Christian worship space, there's a lot honestly of just people singing other people's songs. And so and a lot of it sounds the same. And so in that time I kind of had this crisis of identity of like I want to sing my own songs. And I want to sing my own story. And honestly, I don't even know what that like sounds like. And so, man, in 2019, 2020, it was really a time for me as like a musician to figure out what is my sound. Like what do I like writing? Kind of more like indie, folky, singer-songwriter stuff. I think anymore it's hard to even tell. I feel like anything you listen to is just like so blended. There's so
such
many
a
different
mashing of genres.
It's just like we play music now.
Right. You need charts and like complete dissertation on what exactly your sound and genre is. No, for real. So what? How did that process look like for you? Figuring out your sound and your style, your songwriting. That's a great question. How did you go about that? Because I mean, it's just like with anything, the more genuine you are to yourself, and the more just you, unapologetically you, the more people tend to like it, the more people gravitate to that stuff. You know, we look for uniqueness, we look for individuality, in artistic expression. So like, it's saying that is very obvious, but like actually sussing that out is a completely other thing.
So true. I think for me, even just the practice of starting to write songs was like a process of discovery of, I like that. I don't really like that. And so in that kind of figuring out what my sound is, primarily I write a lot on acoustic. And then for my project, my buddy Todd Sullivan, he lives in Columbus. He produced it, mixed it, and mastered it. Man, we spent hours it was so amazing bringing just like an acoustic song to someone, and then we're gonna sit down for like a month, and we just worked on these songs, on these 12 songs.
That's a lot of fun.
We took it from just stripped down acoustic to full band. And so he's an incredible musician, multi-instrumentalist, and so we were able just to ideas for days. And so I think in that time as well, recording my first project, I came to a guy with 12 songs on acoustic guitar and came out with really, I think, good sounding full band recordings. And so just even in that process, it was fun to hear the songs beyond just an acoustic guitar.
Just what was in your head in an acoustic. Right? Yeah, man. Yeah, that everything changes so much to that process, to the end of that process from beginning to end. It's a very exciting journey.
And you can't even like believe it by the end. Like you start with on an acoustic or on keys or something, and then by the time you sit down with a band and have like a song, man, it's so exciting. Especially as a person who wrote the song, you're like, I didn't think it could actually like sound this good.
That's cool.
So man. Definitely just recording.
Yeah, right.
Doing that for the first time in my life. I think in that, coming in with this 12 acoustic or on keys, and then figuring out what are these songs gonna sound like. I think in that. So that would have been in 2021.
Okay,
is when my first project came out.
Yeah.
And so just in that time, trial and error.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, recording is such a powerful songwriting tool, really. I mean, like, it's just the ability to listen back to what you had and try and see it objectively, like third person is, it really does shape everything that you do musically, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. So you took it and you had it essentially shown through the lens of another person, producer wise. Is he somebody that you think you're going to continue working with then in that regard?
So we're working now kind of on like again, to try to think of a genre. I think later I'll play a few of them. But I have like 8 like singer-songwriter folky type songs. So kind of fully going that route. I found that those are I just love writing in this storytelling songwriter thing. I'm like all right at music. I think I'm better at words. And so the songwriting thing is like so great. And then to have someone who's an excellent musician to like make these 2 chords sound better than these 2 chords.
Than just the 2 chords.
It's fun. Right. It's fun to do that. And so definitely. We're talking now of doing an 8-song project next year. Okay. Starting to start recording that. Doing some demos here locally with some friends. I have a small studio, and then I'm going to Columbus to finish it out.
So you've been writing quite a bit more then, huh?
Writing quite a bit more. Yeah. And like you said too, just like getting songs off of the voice memos onto my phone and into like a demo form even. In that, it's like you can come up with so many more ideas.
Yeah, right.
When
you almost you hear it and things that you didn't even realize become very apparent and obvious. Like, oh yeah, duh, that sounds terrible. That needs to go this direction. What was I thinking? You know,
it's like, I was just playing it. So that, that's why.
No, that makes sense. Dude. Yeah, absolutely. It's in like gym settings and stuff, and anytime you're lifting, I always see people talk about like film yourself so that you can see your technique, see how terrible it is and how much you got to improve.
That's so true.
Right? It's the same thing with music. You gotta you just can't hear it sometimes.
That's so true. As a side rabbit trail, I don't know how many of the listeners or you have ventured into the world of disc golfing.
My cousin is a big fan of it. I've done it once.
Okay. But so it's the same thing. They're like, record yourself, and then you look at yourself and you're like, I look like an idiot. This is not what I thought. I looked way cooler than what I look like right now. So songwriting
disc golf
can be definitely the same way. You listen back to one of your songs and you're like,
this is garbage. What was I doing?
So bad.
Right. Dude, so are you what kind of I always hear a lot of people talk about 2 different methods of like trying to write just a frick ton of songs and then throw them at the wall and see which one's the best that comes out, or like really like taking a small number of songs and really honing them out.
So I think like the other day I was looking, I think I have like over 900 voice memos on my phone.
Holy crap.
And then out of those,
that's a lot,
I know. And I have them organized like, this is a good chorus. This is this idea. So kind of how I go about it lately has been, if I get an idea for something, like in the moment, I'll work that idea. But kind of what I've been doing lately is just going through this massive amount of little ideas here and there, trying to work with what I already have instead of when I sit down, I'm trying to come up with like a brand new idea. So trying to be like a good steward of the ideas that I already have rather than trying to get something new. But for me, man, it's just been the practice of through especially throughout COVID. Right now, I was telling you before we hopped on, I do home health care 20 hours a week, and then I'm in school to become a counselor, and I work for another like missions organization. So my time for writing has lowered a lot. But there for a while, and I need to get back into it, just trying to write every day. You know, just something every day, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. Just keep working that muscle, going back through, listening to voice recordings, trying to piece together different ideas from voice recordings too. So probably a mix of those 2 things. I write a lot,
Yeah.
Anytime I get an idea, I feel like I'm thinking about songwriting like all the time.
Yeah. Right.
And so my notes on my phone are a mess. My voice memos are a mess. And then so just, when I sit down to write, trying to make sense of the ideas I've had.
Yeah.
But definitely, man, I think more songs, the better.
Yeah.
I don't like to get stuck on one song for too long.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's not working out, I'll just kind of move to the next idea and come back to it later.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Not if it's not hitting you, it might hit you later. Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Yeah. Right. And you just don't pursue it at the time.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think doing that daily is very important.
Yeah.
It's one. I mean, also you forget easy.
Yeah.
The things that you've already written that you've put down, and it's like I don't really remember where I was going with that, but it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but also just the skill honing factor of it is integral.
And for me, I think trying to think of it as for me, the work of songwriting has become fun. Yeah. And so not trying to be anxious about like I have to hurry up and finish this song or I want to work on this EP, so I like have to get the best possible workout that I can. Yeah. But for me, man, it's just continued to be like therapy. Yeah. It's a therapeutic thing to do. So like I'm not anxious to like hurry up and like finish a bunch of songs. It's like if the song, I found too when I feel like I have writer's block, it's almost like you just forgot what the song was supposed to be about. You're like, so it's trying to constantly remember like, what am I trying to say? Yeah. What's this song about? Instead of trying to, it doesn't work. I'm just going to sit down and write this song. At least not for me. No, right. If it works for others that way.
I wish.
Yeah. Come and talk to me.
Yeah, right. Tell me how you do it. What's the secret? Because that's just, right. Yeah. I know anytime I try and write something for a project, it always feels like at least a good 45 minutes to hour and a half is just me trying to get in the right headspace to even think of something that would go with it, Yeah. And then once you finally do, it's like 30 minutes of writing, and then you have to move on to something else in life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think writers too, not even just songwriting, and even just for people in general, man, with how our world is now, just carving out time for silence. Dude, it's just been such a life-giving practice for me, you know. Every morning I have 30 minutes where I'm not on my phone, I'm not reading, I'm not journaling. I'm literally just sitting, like in quiet. And even just coming in the studio today, quiet startles you when you first get into it, you know. Right. And so I think, man, one of the best practices a writer can do that's been even life-giving for me is just carving out time for that in my day. Just you'll realize, man, we have these little squares in our pocket where people just talk to us all day long. That's constantly running. And all of those distractions really damper creativity for me. Because there's so many competing voices. There's so many things to do, right? And so really just tending to that space has been really important for me. Even back to the question of like, how have you discovered your sound or kind of what you like? It's like just sitting in the quiet and trying to process through ideas even that way without being so busy and anxious all the time. Right. I think that just makes us better people too. Not just better songwriters, but like
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man, that's good. It's definitely something that I would like to. I kind of do in my routine a little bit, but it's definitely something I'd like to do more. Absolutely,
you have the perfect place for it.
Just need to come in here and just sit. Like you were saying, it's sensory deprivation tanks when we first walked in. It's just got to fill it up with water. and this is true. Probably it.
It's a startling like practice to do, man. When you sit like with just your own ideas. You're like, man, I really think that. Right. Like, that's really in me. It's a great practice to do. Especially for songwriters. It's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, so you're writing a frick ton. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit of lots of amounts.
Yes, tiny bits of lots of amounts.
At times. Are you looking to play any shows anytime soon? Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, so this is like a new idea for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we released Body and Spirit, I did a like album release at Richland Academy.
Okay.
And that was really awesome. That was the first time I ever had done anything like that. And then just like a few weeks ago, I played a show at Third Cup here in town.
Nice.
And before that, I've done like little house shows or stuff in people's garages, living room, stuff like that. But really in 2024, I would love to be more intentional with doing some stuff locally. It's just honestly never been something that I like pursued.
Yeah.
I kind of just had this vision to like do an album, and I did an album, and it was like, wait. Like, you can keep doing stuff.
Yeah, what do I do with this now? I caught the car, now what do I do?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a new idea and things kind of thinking about. Did a show, like a small thing at Element of Art before, some stuff locally here in town, but would love to kind of get more involved for sure, 2024.
Heck yeah. Are you gonna do full band or?
Yeah. I would love to do full band. Yeah. And even if not full band, my buddy Mark here in town, he's an excellent keys player. My buddy Camden, he plays bass. And so those two, I love just having.
Right.
My drummer lives in Columbus.
Okay.
And so
that's
scheduling
tough. Is difficult. That's the worst part about getting older and still trying to be in a band.
Exactly. People have kids and jobs.
Yep. Scheduling is a nightmare, man.
It's true.
4 or 5 different people all on the same night at the same time and in our 30s.
Exactly.
That doesn't happen
that does
very
not happen.
often.
Yeah.
If at all.
We need to figure out how to virtually do band practice.
Yeah, right. But then it's just
it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's true.
Yeah, you don't get that feeling.
You don't.
It's a but yeah, writing rules. Okay, so gonna be playing good. Yeah, hopefully I'd like to see the stuff full band live. That would be. I really dig the album. It's really pretty.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, man. It's you definitely are nailing the grieving therapeutic vibes overall. That definitely I think really sounded loud to me. So
well, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like part of becoming a dad.
Yeah.
You know? That's just how you think.
Yeah.
You're like, I just want to like help people feel better.
Yeah, right.
that's my day job with my kids is I just want to like help you feel better.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So yeah, man, I think that's happened in my music too. Just in life in general, man. Having kids just makes you like 100 times more compassionate.
Yeah.
And like,
that makes sense.
For sure. Kids,
man.
they do it.
They're
Speaking
great.
of the 30s, and
right.
I'm coming up on them here within the next. Well, I'm 26.
Okay, so you got a few more years.
I'm over the.
You're halfway. You're over halfway. You're on the back end of the 20s.
Though,
That's a good time.
The second kid like reversed the number, so I'm 62. Like in my tiredness.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
they're supposed to get easier as the more you have. You know?
That's what they say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Whatever book told you that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not true.
Not true. They have one kid.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. So feeling wise, style wise, with the new stuff that you're writing, are you trying to keep it that same overall vibe of like kind of therapeutic, I guess, in
There's some
nature?
more upbeat ones too.
Or are you going for a little more upbeat flair?
Yeah. There's some more upbeat ones. Again, I think I look back at those songs now.
Yeah.
And just like, man, part of me is like, if I would have held off like a year or two, I think that first project with the songs I think I've written now, I think are just objectively like better songs. We're talking about like the work of songwriting. But again, you got to get the first one in.
That's why they are better now, is because you got the first one over with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you can't wait forever. If you wait forever, it's just like, no.
Yeah.
If you have some songs, put them out.
Right. I think there's something to the growth, the skill growth process of becoming a better songwriter by putting them out.
Putting it out.
Yeah.
Dude,
right.
it's so nerve-wracking.
It really does something to you as an artist when you put it out to for judgment of the public.
You can't mess with it anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's just, it is what it is, that's how it always will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you put out an album a few years later and rework some of them for fun. But still.
Unless I stop paying DistroKid.
Yeah.
They will be on the internet for forever. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man. No, yeah, you just got to put them out, because it's kind of like it's like listening to yourself recording, but listening to everybody else listen to yourself recorded. Yeah. So these songs, I think, are definitely more, again, they're in that singer-songwriter type, folky type vibe. I feel like, I don't know if any of us even know what folk is anymore. No.
It's just, I don't know.
Nope.
There's songs I wrote at my house.
I just picture the color tan and earth tones.
It's all neutrals.
Yeah, that's all I see is earth tones.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And like guys with no shoes or socks on and rolled up like khakis and
that's so funny.
Yeah, man. It's all relative. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Sick. No, that'll I look forward to hearing the growth, because that's a long time. That's a lot of time and a lot of memo notes for it not to have grown.
Yeah, I really hope it's grown with just the work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it's fun work, man. It's life-giving work.
Yeah.
And like even when I was a kid, man, I was always writing like poetry and stuff like that. And so just the idea of like putting that to music, doing that the past 4 years, it's just been fun. It's just been like a new thing to figure out.
Right.
I tend to be like looking for things to do.
Yeah.
So
the next big hobby.
Yeah, exactly. This has like been a consistent hobby now, though, which is really good.
That's nice.
Some other hobbies just kind of
a little fleeting.
Yeah, they fall off.
Yeah.
But songwriting's kind of stayed. So,
nice. Yeah.
I think it will keep staying.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got the itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's addicting.
It is.
It really is addicting.
Yeah, when you get done with your song, it's just so rewarding. Mm-hmm. It's just like, we got there.
Yeah. This is what was in my head the whole time,
exactly.
And now I don't have to listen to it in my head over and over to remember it.
Yeah, we got there.
Yeah, right.
We got this,
dude. That rules. Well, would you like to play us the song?
I would love. I'll make sure my guitar's back in tune too.
Perfect. Yeah, in the void.
In the void. Do I need to be mindful of anything with
no,
with the mic here?
I am going to move one of the mics. I forgot to set it up before we got started, but that's okay.
Alrighty.
Push and pull like ocean tide, hide behind the same old alibi. This is all I've known, working to the bone. 'Cause there is a canyon running between where I am now and where I wanna be. There is a canyon carved through this heart. Trouble is finding where the fault line starts. Strong enough to bear the weight, piled high on a concrete plate till it cracks in two, testing what is true. 'Cause there is a canyon running between where I am now and where I wanna be. There is a canyon the fault line starts.
That's that one.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Real nice.
Appreciate it.
I like that melody.
Man, melody is like the key. You could just put any words to a melody.
Right.
That's indie music.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cool if I play one more?
Absolutely.
Sweet. This one is called 70 times 7.
Inheritance is dangerous when taken as a child. From her ass to the pavement, what I had came crashing down. 'Cause I've come running once, I've come running twice. How many times will you let me in? 70 times, 7 times. And promise comes with an anchor that cannot be thrown. Must be the world's safest wager. Wastefulness paves the road home. 'Cause I've come running once, I've come running twice. How many times will you let me in? 70 times, 7 times. 70 times, 7 times. 'Cause I had no intention of coming to my senses, but down here in the pig pen, life gets to you. I wasted all my riches, I burned down all my bridges, and along the way I missed that you're prodigal too. It seems that you're a prodigal, 'cause I've come running once, I've come running twice. And how many times will you let me in? 70 times, 7 times. How many times will you let me? How many times will you let me? 70 times, 7 times.
Beautiful.
That's it. Thank
Beautiful.
you. Too
Yeah.
good?
Hey, if you got another you want to play, I don't care, man.
I have
Let's
one
do
more
it.
song. We'll do one more.
Heck
Actually,
yeah.
want to share this song because it's about the greatest city in the continental United States of America.
Heck yes.
Let me think if I can remember how to play it real quick.
All right.
Yeah, so I wrote this song. It's called Plain Sight. So if you've lived in Mansfield for any period of time, a lot of people's goal is to get out of Mansfield.
Yeah.
And then you get out of Mansfield and you're like, dang, that was all right.
Yep. Yep.
Seen it time and time again, especially the older that I've gotten. Dude, there's the same coffee shops and music scenes in every city across the country.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we think, if we get out of Mansfield, things are going to get better. So I saw this happening with a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Wrote this song called Plain Sight, just about trying to be content with where we're at, you know, and finding peace, like, in our home.
Yeah.
And so this would be a good song to share on a podcast about the greatest city in the continental United States of America.
All right, let's go. Heck yeah.
So you hear the western wind calling out again. Raise a glass to this small town. Hope to see you soon, my friend. Let the fire that you're after be kindled on the drive. 'Cause what your soul is craving, a place can't satisfy. And once you get there, once you get where you're going, you will find out the ghost that you're gunning isn't running, but hiding in plain sight. And once you get there, once you get where you're going, you'll find out the ghost that you're gunning isn't running, but hiding in plain sight. I felt the eastern hills kissed by morning dew. And barren lands compel me to toil, but I see it's not for you. The wage for exploration is often paid in blood. So pilgrim's death I'm chasing, if I stay or if I run. 'Cause once you get there, once you get where you're going, you will find out the ghost that you're gunning isn't running, but hiding in plain sight. And once you get there, once you get where you're going, you will find out the ghost that you're gunning isn't running, but hiding in plain sight. It's such an awful disposition, heart caged by hollow wishing, keeping you from living. And if it's love that you're after, you're gonna have to choose a master and find home where you're at. And once you get there, once you get where you're going, you'll find out the ghost that you're gunning isn't running, but hiding in plain sight. Once you get there, once you get where you're going, you will find out the ghost that you're gunning is hiding in plain sight.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. That's
what I
really
got.
pretty. I like it. I
Thank
like it
you.
a lot.
Appreciate it. I'm going to
Good.
put my ears back on.
Hey, there you go. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Man,
Yeah, dude, thank you.
absolutely.
Let me
Those
share
are
some
wonderful.
songs. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They so yeah, check his album out, guys. It's,
Please. Yeah.
Take a listen. Where can they find all of your music and all the things?
Anywhere that you listen to music,
Anywhere.
you can find my music.
All right.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal,
Yeah.
all the things. Yeah. Yeah, and right.
Hey, please, anybody actually uses title.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me know comment on a post or
and you
DM
can
me or
you
something.
can be a guest next week.
Yeah, I just want to see what it looks like. Well, I guess I could download it, but I don't care that much. I just want to know if somebody uses it.
Yeah, and too, like for my first project, I did a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that got fully funded. That was such a blessing, man. It was huge.
Cool.
And so more than likely, I would do some other kind of Kickstarter for this project as well.
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
We have not worked out any details at all.
No,
but
perfect.
there are songs.
It's very open-ended
that are waiting to be
waiting for you to provide money,
waiting to do the work.
Yeah, so that we can do the things.
If anyone really likes, whatever I just played and just wants to write one check, we can get it done.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where are the multi-millionaire artists?
That's what the Mansfield music scene needs.
Yeah, right.
Just need one guy.
Yeah, right.
Who really loves us all.
Just loves Mansfield music so much, and is just gonna fund it all.
Exactly, all of it. If you're out there, come on the pod.
Yeah. Bring your taxes down to a desired level by donating to the Mansfield music scene.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
We will take it.
Yeah.
And it will be glorious.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It will.
I'm glad we decided this.
Yeah.
It's just Jordon Baker everywhere, right?
Jordon Baker, and that's Jordon.
O-N, yep.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. I was only named this.
It was the name I was given.
Blame my parents.
Yeah.
That tripped me up a couple times. I had to look up your Instagram. I was like, I know that's his name. Like, I know Jordan. Like,
I know his name.
I know his name.
It's not my fault. I've thought about legally changing it a few times. Yeah.
Just for the music.
Yeah, exactly. And my email address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, you have to spell it every time, I'm sure.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Thank you, guys. This has been another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, your host, Tom Hirst. Brought to you by Richland Source Newsroom After Hours and sponsored by Two Cousins Pizza, downtown Mansfield, Henry Screen Printing, and Potent Studios. They give me nothing, and I talk about them anyway, because they're awesome people, and I love them. And, man, you heard it here again and again. Mansfield, Ohio is the greatest city in the continental U.S. And if you don't know, leave for a little bit, get bored, come back, and appreciate your hometown.
It's true.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make some more cool music.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
Right. We did it. Dude, that was fun.